Good morning. Oh, good morning. Madam President, Chairman of the Board of Trustees, and members of the Board of Trustees, distinguished faculty members, alumni, parents, family, and friends, and to the class of 2016, thank you for this great honor. But let me say to you, congratulations to my fellow honorees. I am delighted, very pleased, and very, very happy to be here on this special occasion. To each and every one of you receiving a degree today, congratulations. This is your day. Enjoy it. Take a long, deep breath and take it all in. But tomorrow you must be prepared to roll up your sleeves because the world is waiting for talented, smart men and women to lead it to a better place. Now you heard that I didn't grow up in a big city like Pittsburgh or Philadelphia or Washington. I didn't grow up in a big city like Atlanta or New York or Buffalo or Detroit. Yes, it is true that I grew up in rural Alabama, that my father was a sharecropper, a tenant farmer. But back in 1944, when I was only 4 years old, and I do remember when I was 4. How many of you remember when you were 4? Well, what happened to the rest of us? My father had saved $300, and a man sold him 110 acres of land. We still own that land today. On this farm, we raise a lot of cotton and corn, peanuts, hogs, cows, and chickens. Any of you know anything? I know you're smart here at Washington, Jefferson. But do any of you know anything about raising chickens? If you do, why don't we compare notes? As a little boy, it was my responsibility to care for the chickens. And I fell in love with raising chickens. I became very good at it. When the setting hen was set, we'd take the fresh eggs, mark them with a pencil, place them under the setting hen, and wait for 3 long weeks for the little chicks to hatch. I know some of the smart professors here, and some of the smart graduates are now saying, John Lewis, why do you mark those fresh eggs with a pencil before you place them under the setting hen? Well, from time to time, another hen would get on that same nest. And there would be some more fresh eggs. You had to be able to tell the fresh eggs from the eggs that were already under the setting hen. You follow me? No, you don't follow me. It's okay. It's all right. So when these little chicks were hatched, I would fool these setting hens. I would cheat on these setting hens. It was not the right thing to do. It was not the moral thing to do. It was not the most loving thing to do. It was not the most non-violent thing to do. It was not the most democratic thing to do. But I was never quite able to save $18.98 to order the most inexpensive incubator or hatcher from the Sizzle Roebuck store. Any of you graduates old enough to remember the Sizzle Roebuck catalog? Maybe some of your professors, maybe your parents or grandparents. It's big book, heavy book, thick. Some people call it the wish book. I wish I had this, I wish I had that. So I just kept on wishing. So I kept on cheating on these setting hens. But as a little boy, I wanted to be a minister. When I was about 8 or 9 years old, we would gather all of our chickens together in the chicken yard. Like you would gather here under this tent. And my brothers and sisters and cousins would line the outside, but around the chicken yard. And then I would start speaking or preaching. And when I look back on it, some of these chickens would bow their head. Some of these chickens would shake their heads. They never quite said amen. But I'm convinced that some of those chickens that I preached to in the 40s and the 50s tended to listen to me much better than some of my colleagues listened to me today in the Congress, and some of those chickens were just a little more productive. At least they produce eggs. that's enough of that story. When I was growing up in rural Alabama and visited the little town of Troy, visit Montgomery, visit Tuskegee, visit Birmingham, I saw those signs that said white men, white women, colored women, white waiting, colored waiting. To go downtown to the theater on a Saturday afternoon, all of us little black children had to go upstairs to the balcony, and all of the little white children went downstairs to the first floor. I would come home and ask my mother, my father, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, why? And they would say, that's the way it is. Don't get in the way, don't get in trouble. But hearing about Rosa Parks, listen to the words of Martin Luther King Jr. inspired me to find a way to get in the way. I got in the way. I got in trouble, good trouble, necessary trouble. I come here today to say to you graduates, congratulations. But you have a moral obligation with your learning, with your education, to find a way to get in trouble, good trouble, necessary trouble. When you see something that is not right, not fair, not just, you must speak up. Speak out. Be brave, be very brave, be courageous, be bold. My generation of students, we studied the way of peace, the way of love, the way of nonviolence. We studied what Gandhi attempted to accomplish in South Africa, what he accomplished in India. We studied the role in civil disobedience. We studied what Martin Luther King Jr. was all about in Montgomery. We got involved. We'd be sitting down and someone would come up and spit on us or put a lighted cigarette out in our hair or down our backs, pour hot water, hot coffee on us. My folks had told me, don't get in trouble. One day I heard, while we were sitting in, that we may be arrested. And I wanted to look what students and young people used to call fresh. You remember that? You're too young. Or look clean. And I wanted a new suit, and I had very little money. So I went downtown Nashville, where I was attending school, to a used men's store and bought a suit, a used suit. And a vest came with it. You know, I paid only $5 for that suit. I got arrested. I look clean. I look fresh. And if I had that suit today, I probably could sell it on eBay for a lot of money. So I said to you, as you leave this beautiful campus, go out into that large, unbelievable world, that you have an obligation to stand up, and speak out, and do your best to help build what I like to call the beloved community, to help redeem not just the soul of America, but redeem our world, our little planet, our little piece of real estate that we call Earth. You must say, and continue to say, that those of us that live here on this little planet, we have a right to know what is in the food we eat. We have a right to know what is in the water we drink. We have a right to know what is in the air we breathe. We must do our part to save this planet for generation yet unborn. We can do it. Now, these are serious times. There are forces in America that want to take us back to another place, another time. We made too much progress. We come too far. and we cannot go back. From the final analysis, we are one people, we are one family, we are one house. We all live in the same house. Not just the American house, but the world house. Maybe our foremothers and our forefathers all came to this great land in different ships, but we all are in the same boat now. We must look out for each other and care for each other. So it doesn't matter whether we're white or African American, Latino, Asian American, or Native American. It doesn't matter whether we're straight or gay or transgender. We're one people. We're one family. I want to say to you, I'll just tell you a little story. When I was growing up outside of Troy, Alabama on that farm, I had an aunt by the name of Seneva. And my aunt lived in what we call a shotgun house. I know here in Washington, here on this beautiful campus, Washington and Jefferson, you never seen a shotgun house. There's beautiful homes around here. You don't even know what I'm talking about. But my Aunt Seneva lived in an old shotgun house. One way in, one way out. She didn't have a green manicured yard, sandy dirt yard. For those of you who may not know what a shotgun house is, in the nonviolent sense, it's an old house, one way in, one way out, where you can bounce a basketball through the front door and it will go straight out the back door. From time to time, our Aunt Seneva would go outside and cut branches from a dogwood tree and tie these branches together and make a broom. And she called that broom the brush broom. And she would sweep this dirt yard very clean, sometimes 2 and 3 times a week, but especially on a Friday or Saturday, because she wanted the dirt yard to look good on the weekend. But one Saturday afternoon, a group of my brothers and sisters and first cousins, about 15 of us, young children, were out playing in my Aunt Seneva's dirt yard, and an unbelievable storm came up. The wind started blowing, the thunder started rolling, the lightning started flashing, and the rain started beating on the tin roof of this old shotgun house. Aunt Seneva became terrified. She started crying. She thought this old house was going to blow away. She got all of us little children together. The wind continued to blow, the thunder continued to roll, the lightning continued to flash. And when one corner of this old house appeared to be lifting from its foundation, my aunt had us to walk to that corner to try to hold the house down with our little bodies. When the other corner appeared to be lifting, she had us to walk to that side. We were little children walking with the wind, but we never left the house. I said to you as a graduate, you must hold our house together. Not just American house, but the world house. You can call it the house of Washington Jefferson, or the house of Washington, D.C., Washington, Georgia. Call it the house of Africa. Call it the house of the Middle East. Call it the house of Europe. Call it the house of Asia. We all live in the same house. And we must learn to live together as brothers and sisters. As Dr. King would say, or we will perish as fools. So I said to you, never, never, ever give up. Never lose hope. Never get lost in the sea of despair. Dream dreams. Keep the faith. And never hate. For hate is too heavy a burden to bear. Peace be with you. Good luck.